that God is a good God. And God is a good Father. And He knows how to discipline us. How many of you need discipline in your life? We all need discipline in our lives. And how many of you know God never stops being a Father to us, no matter how long we've been saved, no matter how long we've been serving the Lord. And so we need to learn from the Lord as He disciplines us, how to discipline our children. And how does He do it with us? He does it hard enough so that we learn, but not so hard that we become discouraged. God knows exactly how much pressure to put on us so that we learn our lesson, but He doesn't put so much pressure on us that we say, forget this Christian life, man, I just can't do it. Are you with me this morning? And we need to be the same with our children. And what happens, when they get to a certain age? Well, we can only spank them up to a certain age. Can you say amen? Okay, if your child is already a teenager, maybe, 14, 15, 16, let me just tell you what has worked in my house. Find out what means the world to them, and then take it away. Can you say amen? Can you say amen? How many of you need God's help and God's wisdom in your life when it comes to disciplining your kids? We see this group of lion, and a group of lion is called a pride. And so what were some of the advantages that the pride of lions, as they're over here and as they blend into the different weeds and grass that were growing, and they get down, what were some of the advantages that the lion's attack had, the pride's attack advantages? And as we look at this, let's see how the enemy comes and attacks our families. Number one, we see that the lions surprise their prey. The water buffaloes had no idea what was going on, and we're going to talk about why they had no ideas going on. But they prowled around. This is what the Bible told us, that the enemy is like a devil. The enemy is like a lion that prowls around. How many of you have a cat? We had a cat. Sorry, Lord, I hated cats. My whole life I hated cats. I was mean to cats. Okay? And then God blessed us with the best cat in the whole world. And I'm convinced that cats go to heaven too. Okay? And I learned so much from this little guy. Man, we loved him. His name is Cheesehead. We loved him. He has a special place in our heart, and I know he's waiting for us in heaven. Can you say amen? But one of the things I would love to watch him out there, and a bird would come, and he'd motion to us that he wanted to go outside, and he wouldn't run after the bird. He'd go, and he had a blast doing it. He'd hide behind this shed that me and Brittany made when she was little, and then he'd go, and he'd kind of hide behind the pool tile, and he was so focused in on this bird that the girls would run up to him and push him in the pool. But he would prowl around, and he would pick places that he would blend into. And how many of you know that's the way the enemy of our soul is? Mom, Dad, we got to be careful where we let our kids go to. Mom, Dad, we got to be careful the kind of music we let our kids listen to. And young people, you need to be careful what you involve yourself in. Because the enemy of your soul, the devil, is like a prowling lion, is like a roaring lion, and he sneaks around and he camouflages himself to make it look like, Mom, Dad, everybody else is doing it. Mom, Dad, come on, don't be old-fashioned. Mom, Dad, this and this, that and that. And Mom and Dad can see certain things that you can't see. That straight up, that's of the devil. Straight up, that's of the world. Straight up, God is not going to be pleased with that. Straight up, you're going to get in trouble. You're going to get hurt. No, let me learn. I got to learn my way. No, love is going to do all it possibly can. Because love hopes for the best. And it's going to try to protect you as much as possible. And the lions, one of their advantages was that they would surprise. And young people, the devil loves to surprise with attacks. Number two, we see that one of their advantages is near or far, they're quicker. Okay, now listen to this. I want you to understand the way things work. In the kingdom of animals is that the lions are quicker. But most animals have more endurance. Okay? And so, if a lion or a bear or even a tiger can't get its prey right away, it'll give up. Okay? Because most of these, they're running for their life, and even though they're not quicker, they have more endurance, and the water buffalo, the deer, the gazelles, whoever, they can keep running. Let me tell you something, parents. The way things are in the house right now, the situation that you're going through, it's not going to be like that forever. The devil is attacking right now. And he's doing all he can. 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 But there is one that is in us that gives us the strength to endure. There is one that is in us that gives us the strength to keep on going. And mom, dads, if you can just hold out, you will see victory in your house. Because there's one in us that gives us the strength to endure. He says in his word, I who began a good work in you, I who began a good work in your children, I will be faithful to complete that work in their lives. Can you say amen? Amen. And even though they're quicker than their prey, and that's an advantage because they can get them right away, okay? But the animals usually have more endurance. And number 3, what are some of their advantages? They single out the calves. Okay? Why do they single out the calves? They single out the calves because calves have undeveloped muscles. Okay? And so they're not as strong. They can't run as fast. They can't run as long. I'm talking about, when I said some of them have endurance, I'm talking about some of the older animals. They have an endurance that will keep going. But calves have undeveloped muscles. How many of you know parents that even though they present themselves as, I know everything, I don't need your help? How many of you parents know that we're dealing with undeveloped people? We're dealing with inexperienced people. We're dealing with innocent people. Mom, Dad, he just wants to take me here. Mom, Dad, he just wants to do this. He just wants to do that. And Mom and Dad kick in because Mom and Dad have been around the block before. And we've seen that movie too. Are you with me? Are you with me? Okay? And how many of you know that the brain is a muscle? I appreciate Pastor David giving us Mondays off because it gives this brain, this muscle, time to rest. And how many of you know that our children and our teens and some of our young adults, this muscle right here is still being developed. It's not fully developed yet. Are you with me? And the devil knows that. And the devil knows that our teens, the devil knows that our children, the devil knows that our young adults don't have the experience, they don't have the development, so he isolates them. And let me tell you how the devil works too. Are you with me this morning? Let me tell you how the devil works. Okay? We see in this video, something interesting. That is that they come, and I'm going to explain in a couple minutes. I'll get back to what I'm going to explain. They don't necessarily kill right there and then, but what they do is they give a deadly blow. What's the word I'm looking for? They give a decisive blow that slows them down. Okay, we're going to get back to that in just a minute. But calves have undeveloped muscles. And how many of you parents know? How many of you have some sharp kids? And you try to have a conversation with them. And they're so smart today with the schooling. They're so smart today with the college. They're so smart today because, my daughter's got the fastest thumbs in the West, boy. Okay? And with technology today, listen, don't they make you second guess yourself sometimes? Maybe you should be up here preaching, okay? Maybe I should be down there because I'm not getting too many amens. But how many of you have kids that sometimes make you second guess yourself sometimes? And they second guess your decisions sometimes. Okay? But we got to remember, we're dealing with a bunch of small people that have undeveloped muscles. And listen to me, dads. Your children have undeveloped muscles and they need their dad. And when dad doesn't kick in, mom has to kick in. But that's not God's plan. God's plan